Hey everybody, welcome back to Age of Bison. Platypus Slayer here, coming in with a co-cast of myself. Just FYI, this is before the July pop, right? So we're going to try to get a bunch of these games out from the series. We are now in the quarterfinals of our 2v2. So we're starting to get to the end of our long journey, and we have probably one of the more competitive brackets. This would be the 4th and 5th seed. Here on the left, as Inca, we've got Jack and a new player. This is Llamaroo. Both these very solid team players, 1800s plus. Over here on the right, we've got Neko and Captain Link, aka Jimmy. So I think that about summarizes the introduction. I'm going to start this going. So starting off here, we are on a map a lot of you probably are not familiar with. This is Muscovy. One of the maps added in the last update. It's a very interesting map. You've got these kind of river crossings, right? You don't have like a trade line, but you do have 4 gnats, of which there are 2 different options. It looks like this one spawned Yeglion and Oldenburg. Yeglion, very powerful natives. And as you can see, there's just resources all over the place, especially in the middle here where most of the coin mines are. So this is a map that can have some pretty amazing battles. Again, it's almost like Gran Chaco without the livestock, if you think about it in a way, but instead of having a plateau in the corner, you've got this river with multiple, very big fjords. So should be a lot of violence. And looking here, we'll start off with Inca. Inca is going to opt with the 2 concha openings, so you might see a concha boom. Kronk is the explorer. Jack still, I think, wins the best explorer name of the tournament so far. And it looks like Mexico is opening with a market start, right? Can't really start TP. They are really well set up to do a market start, so pretty kind of standard there. It looks like Ethiopia gets Mexico's cow. Very generous there, right? Also opening with a market. And so far, kind of a standard opening. So, looking at these civs in this map, I will say that Mexico can do all sorts of crazy stuff. Captain Link in particular and Neko have been doing a lot of trade monopolies, but this is kind of a tough map to pull that off. So I don't think we'll see a trade monopoly. I think we'll see kind of a more standard Mexico play, whatever that means, because Mexico is just so flexible. So with that, over in the left, we got Inca and Mexico. Again, there's so many different combinations, but probably either Bowman or Chimu from Inca, I would imagine. And Mexico will do Mexico things and, be the kind of the flex civ. So looking at the deck here, 2v2, pretty standard deck, I would say. The Leather Soldiers card is interesting. There's a lot of resources on this map, so, I mean, Jimmy, if you get a chance to listen and comment, I'm kind of curious your thoughts on Leather Soldiers. I've used it on maps like Korea, but it's not always the best. But 15 Villa age up. He is sending his Hacienda to probably get line of sight. So a new player, the other Mexico. We'll call this Purple Mexico or Grape Mexico. OP Eric as he goes by, and this has kind of been the deck that he has used throughout this tournament. It's very eco-focused. It's got emphasis on Haciendas and these Criollos, which is a card that we saw a lot when Mexico came out, and we have not seen it as frequently. No crates, though, in Age 3, so you might even see a Revolt from him. Again, Mexico, you can never really quite know what it's doing, but there are signs that it's going to do some Mexican stuff. Tournament. Looks like a pretty standard Inca deck here. He's got all the cards for Chimu in particular. Also Haraka. Bowman not as much, but he can also get pretty good spearmen. So and the Inca spears are amazing in 2v2. So he also has check system. Kind of limited value, I think, on this map, but who knows. And then for Ethiopia, 2v2. Looks pretty standard Ethiopia deck. Nothing too out of the blue, I would say. Lots of good eco cards, a few good shipments. Again, almost all these civs are really flexible in how they age up. So speaking of, Habesha is going to be the age up for Neko, usually a bit of a boom. Inca now, aging up with the Wise Woman. I believe that's the 3 Priestess. We will find out here when they age up. Captain Link. Alright, I can do this. Queretaro, probably pronounced that a little bit wrong. Disculpame. But, this is the one that adds the Hacienda has pop, plus it has a free vet tech and a double reward age up. And let's see what new player he is aging up with. Tlaxcala, so a little bit more of a boom. So, all right, here in the middle, we've got new player, and we've got a war hut already going up for Inca. We've got a fight going on of the Treasure Guardians. And it looks like Inca and... Inca. Looks like Purple Mexico is kind of losing now, right? They're only down to 1 Explorer. Barracks already coming out for Blue Mexico, Captain Link, aka Jimmy. The Padres out here. And a war camp from Ethiopia is going to be built here shortly with the camp builder. So this might just be a pretty close one. Up, stable coming out from Eric. Again, Eric, famous for his cav raids. Looks like he needs to get a Vil up here, though, because his XP crates are up. And that is something I've done before with Mexico. Spears coming out for Inca. I would imagine you click the big button. And yep, okay. 3 Priestess. Really good unit. Of course, they can convert like an Age of Empires 2 Monk. Spearman shipment coming out for Inca. Or at least another batch. Yeah, they've got... Ooh, but now the Salties are out. And these, you know, these skirmishers pack quite a bit of a punch. Especially underneath their flag. Alright, let me try to kind of see what the shipments are. So, yep, looks like a new player's kind of trying to boom behind this pressure. He's only got 2 Chinacos, though. I don't think that's enough to clean up these Salties, but I guess the Salties plus these fast spears should do the trick. Ooh, but then here comes the Javelin Riders. And these things can kite those spears. And, you know, I'm thinking that the composition here of Jack and new player, it's kind of at a risk of this, especially getting kited to death. There goes the Chinacos, and I mean, the Spearman did pretty good, I think, overall, and now it looks like he's trying to siege down this Rax here from Captain Link. Oh, the Chimu shipment now is in, so look at all those Jav Riders. And yeah, they just don't have enough bowmen. I mean, they're going to get cleaned up here shortly. And these Jav Riders, they don't really have a counter now on the field. But the Rax does go down. That is a huge bit of momentum gone now for Jimmy. Looks like he's getting ready to build another barracks, but they got to be really careful. And again, these Saltadors, they have less range. So they have 1 more range than a Jungle Bowman, but they will lose in a stand-up fight, resource to resource. Although, actually, I kind of don't know, 110 resources? It's looking... I mean, there's the poison too, but that really doesn't matter as much. Wow, now that I think too, they're going to buff these guys in the upcoming PvP, huh? But Inca does get a lot of upgrade cards for their infantry, including, of course, the Plaza in the late game. In fact, what does Jack got his Plaza set on? Okay, the wood upgrade. So he's probably trying to build conchas behind this, but he only has 3. There are some Chinacos out now from a new player. And looking at the score, I mean, Ethiopia is doing fantastic. Yep. Even getting a second war camp. I mean, God, look at that Jav Rider mass. Yeah, I think they need just like double skirm basically at this point. But you know, the thing is Mexico, all of its wood, all it has is the stable, and its stable is completely countered by these Javelin Riders. Cheeky Spearman raid now going out, but, you know, I wonder if he can catch that. Oh, so close. Yeah, just doesn't see it. Oh. Look at that, too. Yeah, that really slowed down Mexico's tempo, I think. And now the show tells are coming out. These units are getting nerfed in the upcoming patch, because these things are just, like, just clean house, basically. And with the Spearman out of place, too, I mean... I'm not really sure. Like I said, I think Jack and a new player here, they're in a tough spot comp-wise. And, you know, Jimmy now sending Quaitaro, so he doesn't have to worry about pop space, like, at all. What we got? Oh, back raid, though, from Eric. But, yeah, those Javelin Riders right on top. Insurgente's coming in. And here in the front, they tried to kind of push, but, yeah. He looks like he will get some kills, though. Good job there from new player to get on top of Jimmy's skirmishers. But Again, these Javelin Riders are just going to take him down. And not a lot of Vils were killed back here, so I think that's a net positive here for Link and Neko, aka Team Weplaypvp. So again, kind of showing why they play PvP, because they are looking really dominant in this first game. Although again, Jack and new player Llamaroo here give it a pretty good fight, all things considered. Are they going to connect? Nope. Good job. Oh, it looks like the Treasure Guardian got involved. Does happen. It's so easy to click these guys, especially because they're kind of brown and they kind of blend in, which is kind of, you know, lore appropriate now that I think about it. And we finally have a little bit of a lag in the actions. Looking at the scores here, dead even. You know, no team really having a clear advantage. I would just say that, you know, good. Concha House now coming out. Looks like he gathered up the, what's it called, XP crates. Yeah, 110. Yeah, I mean, those bowmen are just completely outclassed. And man, look at that Shotel mass. Yeah, those pickies. Ooh. They're going to put a lot of siege. I think this Hacienda is going to go down from Mexico. And, you know, he sent this shipment to Boom, but he doesn't really have any value out of it at this point. He doesn't have enough Haciendas, really, to be boomed. I mean, if we're going to go through real fast here, 40 Vils of a new player, 27 of Jack, 31 of Neko, and 31 of Captain Link. So, I mean, he does have a bigger eco, but, yeah, I just don't see him. You know, he needs to get either a barracks out or, you know, get to age 3. Yep, here comes Observadors, so they're about to be range 19. Wow, this is looking tough. You know, these are a lot of war huts. I just don't think, I mean, look at that mass. Yeah, now the score is starting to kick in there for Ethiopia. You know, Ethiopia's got this whole map. All of these coin mines with a civ like Ethiopia is going to be a really rough time if you let them boom a bit. Yep, salty mass. Boom. Now they're range 19, so they outrange just about any age 2 skirm except for Dutch. I mean, if you look at their stats, they're just better than these bowmen. The Inca bowmen almost completely outclassed there by the Mexican skirm. You know, I guess poison does help, but then, you know, poison can kind of be a bit buggy on how it calculates. So, new player though, yep, he's over macroed. He's almost age 3 though with Tabasco. That will give him a pretty big pop of vet skirm, so he actually might be able to leverage the advantage back into his favor. But I think Ego's going to lose us forward, and you know, he's invested so much resources. Oh, new player going right to 4. Okay. Chihuahua. Okay. Chihuahua. I just think this mass is too big. I'm not sure, like I said, if Jack can hold under all this pressure. The Inca, again, Inca was not able to boom. Yeah, he's trying to build war huts as much as he can to kind of give himself time, and I think he's doing solid, all things considered. Yep, 2 war huts for Va, but yeah, the stable goes down. Church, perhaps to get Dias de Muertos for an XP. So let's see here. What is going to be the first card for new player? Looks like, oh, Treehouse Fortification, so decides to put a fort down. Okay. He's placing it defensively. I'm not sure if that's necessarily the right call. I mean, you kind of probably want to place it here, but, you know, new player, if you watch this, you're definitely one of the most creative players that I know, so I'm sure there was a reason for that. Ooh, losing some Vils here. And this is quite the turtle, but I don't know. Yeah, these Chinacos too, these they're just age 2, so even though he's went age 4, he only has age 2 units. He will have the Cuirassier that'll be guard Cuirassier here soon. But these Javelin Riders are just absolutely insane. I think Ethiopia can tend to stay in age 2. Looks like Mexico's starting to macro to go up. Alright, there's the Cuirassier. I mean, look at that stats. I mean, Shadow Tech, Royal Guard, Cuirassier, but... yeah, this is the fight. Oh no, he's kind of... just, yeah, so many Jav Riders. Let's see here. Yeah, I think we play PvP, Link and Echoes. Their forces, they kind of got impintured, and so, I mean, now would be the time, you know? Yep. Decides to collapse on it, and... wow, even though they're 2 ages behind, those Javelin Riders absolutely shredding. Same thing with the Showtells, cleaning up, and this is looking pretty grim here. Yep, Minutemen being called, they kind of go in the wrong direction. Wow. I mean, there's just such a mass. Even though they had great unit comp there, they weren't quite able to leverage it perfectly, and, I mean, these Jav Riders, they're doing 30, 60 damage in the space that a ranged unit does, right, against hand cav, and up close they're doing 45 damage. I mean, they're doing more damage than a guard cure right back at it, and these cost 1 pop. They're a lot cheaper, and the mass is just so much bigger. So, you know, I think that Ethiopia it has the better units in this matchup and in this case. Yeah, Bill's going down. Jack is just completely gutted. Heavy cannons are out, but again, these goons, or at least they used to, yeah, they still have a pretty decent multiplier against artillery. Oh, and now the soldados are coming out. Looks like, yeah. Ooh, gets a good shot off with those heavies. But now, again, these Cuirassier, they're going to melt here in a second. Some stuff over there going on. Yeah, this game's starting to devolve into chaos. Yep, 1 heavy goes down, 2 heavies go down. And again, there's quite a mass, so I mean, these Javelin Riders, although they are arguably the best goons in the game, especially in H2, which isn't necessarily the most competitive bracket, but when you have a mass like this of 1-pop goons, like, just overkill and cost effectiveness just swings to the favor. And it is looking like Jack, I mean, all he has, he's trying to build Chimu, because that's what his res is, but something's going to help him. Link now is age 3. It looks like he aged up also with Tabasco, so these Salties are about to be veteran. They beat Rage 20 already, if the pup goes through. But nonetheless, very strong. And he's going to get a big pop of him too, right? 10 Saltidor, yeah. 10 Skirm Shipment. Incredible value there. And, you know, Chimus are trying to do their raids, but with these Javelin Riders, I just think that, you know, they're doing everything they can, right? If you're a Llamaroo, you're just trying to just stay into this game, but, I mean, the score is not hopeless, but I just think, again, the combination of Javelin Riders plus tough Skirm, unfortunately, or fortunately, you know, I mean, really well played by Jimmy and Neko to just have the better unit comp, put the pressure at the right time, and, you know, ultimately they had the perfect counter to their opponent's strategy. So even though there's been a lot of posturing, a lot of back and forth, raids, you know, a lot of stuff going on in this game, both these very high-skilled, high-caliber players, ultimately, I believe at this point, you know, they're just kind of playing to maybe see if they can pull something out or do a clever strategy, but it's looking like it's pretty over at this point. You know, guerrilla tactics. Yep, and the GG. Called first by Jack. New player, just trying to get a little bit of a raid. I mean, and he also probably called the GG. Can't only see it after the game. And with that, we wrap up game 1 of our best of 5 between Llamaroo and Weplaypvp, and that was action-packed. And man, you know, first off, I want to give my hats off to Team Llamaroo for, even though they were on the back foot that whole game, I think they made a really good show of it. I mean, they fought extremely well. They took about as good trades as you could. And, it just goes to show you with Age of Empires 3, even at the higher levels, sometimes you make a strategy and it just gets countered. And it just happens, It doesn't necessarily mean that you made these huge blunders or errors. It's just, it happens sometimes. But that being said, GG, well played both sides. And I think Captain Link and Neko looked very practiced, very clean, and just all the things they wanted to do, they were able to land. They had their better unit comp, they were able to take map control, they were able to kind of boom and push at the same time freely. And I think that's why they take a commanding game 1. So looking at the resource graph, yeah. I mean, new player gathered like a beast, but Inca not ever really able to concha boom or take off. Again, look at the kill deaths. I mean, this is pretty equitable. I mean, in fact, these units are a lot cheaper, like the Javelin Riders. Yeah, 120 Javelin Riders. Okay, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Looking at the timelines here, yeah, looks like a new player. He's able to boom with villagers a lot more now. Ethiopia is always a little bit tricky because their Obans are not counted in this graph, but I just think it's a team. Yeah, there you go. Over here, we kind of idle, and as the game goes on, we play PvP is able to grind them out. Yeah, military unit count. I mean, just the fact that they were able to make this somewhat of a game for as long as they did, under those odds, impressive by Llamaroo. But man, we play PvP just absolutely dominating from the early game, and then never letting the gas off, and never taking, allowing Llamaroo to crawl back into the game. So, yeah, that was basically it right there. So, yeah, I mean, good. Close all the way towards the end. Pretty good series there. Or just for a start of a series. Man, this is going to be a great one. So I look forward to casting more of these. So with that, we're going to wrap up our game 1 of the quarterfinals with game 1 being taken by Weplaypvp, Neko, and Captain Link looking pretty good. And of course, Jack and a new player, the Llamaroos, putting up one hell of a fight and showing why they are here. If you've made it this far, please like and subscribe. Again, we're going to try to get this whole series out before the pup goes, and that should ensure that you guys are able to watch as many series as you can. So let me know what you think in the comments. One last little tidbit about the UI. So this is the UI that I use in other platforms when I have to cast. I actually prefer DE because I'm a filthy, disgusting Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition player. I know. Can hear your boos for now. But in all seriousness, I'm going to try to stick with this UI so it's a little bit less confusing. I know everyone kind of has their preferred one, but I also know people are very particular, as I learned when I once had a mod for the Incan flag that's actually, the closest thing they had to an actual flag, but boy, did people not like that. So I will try to keep things consistent on the casting on my end. So those that have left comments, I do hear you. It's just, between the different mediums, sometimes we forget, but try to keep that consistent. And I think with that, I will see you guys all on the next one.